Hey, what's up everybody? So this is the first in what I hope will be a new series of quarantine tips. So I'm stuck at home like a lot of us, and I'm actually in an unfinished basement. This room doesn't even have power or electrical. You can hear there's a little bit of an echo. I apologize. I don't have any lighting. So it's gonna be real raw and gritty, but it gives me an excuse to just pump out a bunch of content that I've wanted to get out for you for a long time. So hopefully we'll have some fun. And in this first one, what I wanna do is show you how to install a Vail amp. So if you saw our last YouTube video, we put up a video about introducing the Vail amp from Vangaurd Dynamics. Cool product we're really excited about. And in this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to install it into your own home, even if you're retrofitting it, and give you a few tips to help you along the way. So quick recap, this is an amplifier. So it recesses into your wall, and then it uses an Alexa dot as a source or an input. And so you can tell Alexa to play the music that you want up into the ceiling. Very, very cool product. You can definitely use it in new construction, but what we're seeing a definite application use for it is for retrofitting. So like I'm doing in this room right here. So Vanguard's done an awesome job of making it easy for us. They have these cool little templates. First thing we're gonna do is use this template to cut out the location for our speaker. You can trace it with a pen or a marker. I actually usually just use the edge of my drywall knife. I'm gonna trace the circle out, and then I'm gonna cut it out. Once it's cut out, this guy's gonna slide back in and you'll see these little dog ears. They flip out, and then when you tighten down the screw, those dog ears are gonna clamp down on the sheetrock and make it hold real securely. And then there's a trim plate when it's all said and done that goes on top of this. So that part's easy. Now before we get too far into it, let me give you something to think about here. When we're doing new construction, it's a lot easier to worry about aesthetics. We can make sure our speakers are lined up with can lights, with ceiling fixtures. We can make sure that speakers are placed left and right of our seated position or where we're most often located in the room. And you can do that when you're doing a retrofit, but in order to have the perfect aesthetic solution and frankly the perfect placement for speakers for audio, most likely you're gonna have to cut a lot more sheetrock and you're gonna have a lot more patching to do. So you've got to make a decision of how much you care about aesthetics and how much you care about just getting it done easily in a retro. If it were something like a theater and a surround sound, we'd be a little bit more picky about it. But something simple like just some music, usually for retrofit, we're gonna go with the easiest solution possible. So a couple of pointers. Number one, the ceiling joist overhead. It's ideal in a retrofit if we place both speakers inside of the same bay of I-beams or joists. If we can get our wire into the first speaker, it's really easy to run the second one down that bay to the other speaker. If you don't do that, what you're gonna have is this necessity to cut sheetrock so you can drill a hole through every single I-beam or joist and jump that wire through every one of those bays. And it's gonna be, you're gonna cheese grade your ceiling. With that in mind, if you look at your ceiling and you go, okay, my ceiling joists are running this way, so if I can get a speaker into this location, I can easily get to the next one. If at all possible, you want to place your amp in the wall underneath that same ceiling bay, because that way you can run from here straight up into that ceiling bay and then straight down to your speakers. That's going to give you the fewest amount of cuts for your sheetrock. One of the things that's cool about these guys is you don't have to run your wires all the way back to an attic. So in terms of a retrofit, if you've got something on the second floor or in the basement, you don't have to get wire from the other end of the house all the way to that device. You can use power from the room and it really minimizes the amount of wiring that you have to retro. So with that in mind, we've got our hole cut, we're ready to place this, we've got to get power to it, and then we've got to get wires from here to the speakers in the ceiling. So Vail or Vanguard has made our job really, really easy. They gave us this little guy that's going to sit next to an outlet in the wall, and it's going to help us get power to the amp. We got a little guide right here that's going to help us cut this out and recess it into the wall. What'll happen, you'll see when we're done, got it upside down, power is going to come out of this and going to plug into the outlet for us. And they have this handy dandy power wire that's going to go inside the wall. We don't have to cut it, we don't have to make any ends or termination. We're going to put this guy in the wall next to an outlet. We're going to run this from here up to our Vail amp, and that's going to bring power to our Vail amp. Super easy. So again, we want this guy to be located very, very close to an outlet. Doesn't have to be next to an outlet, but close to it. And then ideally, we want this to be located underneath the ceiling joist where our speakers are going to be. Okay, so installing your power guide and installing your amp, those are going to be the two easiest parts of the job. The hard part is most likely going to be getting your wires out to your speakers. So I'm going to give you a few tips. You're probably going to want a drywall knife, a glow rod, which is the kind of green transparent thing you see me using. You can buy them at Home Depot. They're usually orange, not quite as flexible, but they'll still work. And then ideally you would have a flex bit, which is a drill bit that's like 2-3 feet long, but it has some flex and some give on it. Again, you can get those in the hardware tool section at Home Depot or Lowe's. Okay, so the biggest challenge with running your speaker wires in any retro application, but from your Vail amp specifically, is that at the top of the wall you have what's called a top plate, which if you're unfamiliar with construction, it's the horizontal 2x4 or 2x6 that's running at the top of the wall. Then you have your vertical kind of studs that run underneath that top plate, right? So even if we've got this guy running between studs and then our studs in the ceiling are running like this, there's a top plate that the wire's got to get through to turn. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can do this. The easiest, surefire way to do is what we call pull boxes. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut a 1-gang box, which is the size of this guy, just below the top of the ceiling. So where the wall and the ceiling come together like this, you're going to cut a box here, and then you're going to cut another box on the ceiling. And what you use that box for is to drill a hole through that top plate. So you take like a 3/4 or 1-inch bit to drill out that top plate. And that's going to allow you to put a wire through it, turn that corner, come into the ceiling joist where your speakers are at. And the cool thing is, you've already cut a hole in the wall for this guy underneath, so you can take your glow rod and you can run your wire up the wall to that top plate. You're going to cut another one of these in the ceiling. That's going to allow you to reach your hand up in the ceiling, take that wire and pull it on in to the ceiling joist. It's actually a lot simpler than you would think. That's the easiest way to do it. And then if you don't want to pay a patch guy, you just get 2 blank single-gang faceplates and you screw those up, and it looks like they're there for some kind of a pre-wire thing that you may use in the future. What that's done is it's helped you turn that corner of your ceiling and manage that top plate, kind of come through the top plate and turn, right? The other option you can do that requires only 1 pull box is to use what's called a flex bit. I mentioned it earlier, it's about 2-3 feet long. It's got some give in it, and you can take your drill through the hole you cut in the wall for your Vail amp, and you can put the drill in the wall and it'll go all the way up the wall to that top plate. It'll drill a hole through the top plate, so you don't have any holes that you have to cut on the wall. But you're still gonna have to cut a hole in the ceiling, a 1-gang box near the wall, so that you can reach your hand up inside, grab that wire, and pull it on over to the speaker. You're done, that's it. Now when you get to the speaker, you're golden because you've lined up your speakers in the ceiling joist, so you get your first speaker in place, you can run your wire down to the second speaker, and you're off and running. So I got to cheat here a little bit. There's actually a closet behind me, and that's where everything's running into, and there's a duct in there, so I didn't have to worry about it. I was able to just come into the duct and cut a hole in the duct that nobody can see, so I was able to skip that space. But that's how you would do it if you were trying to retro your own space. Now that the speaker wires are in place, you'll see here that this is just like a Phoenix connector on the back of an amplifier, and our speaker wires are going to plug right into there like any other amplifier. And now your amplifier is hooked into your speakers. And then remember to plug your power wire in from the first step. This is going to recess into the wall. We're going to put our Alexa dot into here, and then we're going to put our faceplate on, and we're done, just like that. So you can see it right there. I'll give you a quick demo. I have to be quick about it so YouTube doesn't flag it for copyright, but here we go. Alexa, play Andy Grammer album Naive by Apple Music.
Playing Naive by Andy Grammer from Apple Music.
It's awesome, right? Alexa, stop. And it's cool, if you've never used an Alexa dot before, you can change the volumes and different things. You can pipe in Apple Music, you can pipe in other music services, and you can do some other cool things, like you can use it as an intercom inside of the house and outside of the home. So if you want to call in from outside of the home, you can say that you're coming home from dinner, or hey, do you need me to pick up groceries, whatever you want. It's going to come through these speakers. So really, really cool product we're super excited about. All right, so the big question is going to come then, should you use a Vail amp for everything? I'm a huge fan of Vangaurd Dynamics and the Vail amp in particular. You could use it for everything in your home, and that's fine if you do. Here's my genuine thought on it. It's a phenomenal solution for retrofits, and it's a great solution for smaller homes, townhomes, condominiums, tract homes where there's maybe 2 rooms, maybe 3 rooms tops in the home where you want to have music. I think the Vail amp is a phenomenal solution. If you're talking about doing 10, 15, 20 zones of audio, you could use the Vail, but I don't think it's right for that. I really don't. That's when you want to use a legitimate distributed audio solution from somebody like Vail at True Audio, or Control 4, or Savant, or Autonomic, or Load Audio. You want to get into something that's really built to distribute audio throughout an entire home. But These are a phenomenal solution for retrofitting because you can localize everything in the room. You don't have to run your wires outside of that room. It's great user experience, and if you're a home builder and you're watching this and you happen to see this and you're just looking for a solution for your kind of smaller tract homes or townhomes or condominiums, this is a phenomenal solution. You have Alexa in the wall in every room, and now that can control your lights, your shades, you know, a number of different things, all from the location of this Vail amp. So, super cool product. You should check it out. We've actually got a really cool offer, and the links in the comments below. We're actually giving away some cool bonuses as part of this product, so check that out. We'd love to hear from you and hear what you think. And as always, we'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. And we'll see you next time.